Happy Sunday, guys. How are you? Welcome into the latest edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Peralta. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. You can follow BettingPros on Twitter at BettingPros. This podcast is always found wherever you get your audio podcasts, YouTube for the video as well, and always being brought to you by BetMGM. The $10 offer wins $150 on any event. Use that promo code JUICE150 when you sign up for a new account with BetMGM or BetMGM.com. All right, so we are entering into the second half of the NFL season. And, well, I'm on the East Coast. So the majority, not the majority, but two of our very big bets are still not decided as of yet at the time of taping. Oklahoma State still going on. Well, we have two of the one unit, I guess. We get Michigan right +8. They win outright. We get Alabama wrong. They win in quadruple overtime, but they don't cover the 20 points. Home teams have been the story. Hopefully that stays the case here when it comes to Okie State at home for Bedlam, that they'll win and cover that 4.5-point line for us, going 2-1. And then we'll see what the boxing parlay winds up going with the potentially of a +150, 143 hit on the parlay. So we'll see how that might wind up going for us, but we got to wait and see how that all falls out. It is about 8:30 here on the East Coast, and this is when I tape the podcast, 8:30, 9 o'clock normally, and I cannot stand East Coast sports, man. It's amazing. I grew up with this, and it's just incredible. Everything is so late and so cold that you just want to go to bed, and it's frigid here. It's 30 degrees, and oh my gosh. So I'm here one more time in the hotel. We were going to go back to my in-laws, but we decided to stay an extra night in the hotel, so we'll be at the in-laws coming up tomorrow for Monday Night Football, and then, for Sunday into Monday Night Football, and then I'll come to you from New Jersey for one night, and then back to Vegas for Tuesday's taping for Wednesday morning's podcast. So that's kind of the schedule. There is no live stream today, okay? So just FYI, no live stream. I'm going to give you all four of my player props coming up here right now. There will not be an official Wong teaser. I will give it to you on the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat, or the link is underneath me here on YouTube. The Wong teaser has missed 3 straight weeks. We are now 7-4 on the Wong teaser. I believe that's the correct record for the Wong teaser. But I did come back with a different teaser last week that did cash, so we were 1-1 on teasers last week. But hopefully we'll get a Wong teaser right coming up here for today. But I've got 1 full unit NFL bet to give you and 4 quarter unit prop bets to give you, and that's kind of it. We were involved on Thanksgiving with 3 games, 3 1-unit plays, plus a prop that cashed for us. We got one voided because of the Taysom Hill thing. He didn't play, so that cashed. One of them got voided. So went 1-0 on props. So I'm going to give you 4 props and 1 full unit play, and then I'll give you the Wong teaser on the Discord channel a little bit later on today. And that's all we got going for today. So just FYI on that. All right, let's start with the only game I'm betting a full unit on, and that is the Sunday night game with the Ravens taking on the Baltimore Ravens, hosting the Cleveland Browns. Okay, so let's just talk about these teams kind of in general, like where they are right now. Cleveland 6-5, Baltimore 7-3. Cleveland has now in the division, they're 1-1. They're 3-4 in the conference, 3-2 over their last 5. They are banged up. Baker Mayfield's still banged up. Nick Chubb probably coming back though. That could be big. 4-3 in the conference for the Ravens. 3-2 over the last 5. 7-3 on the year for them coming up here on the season. So nice to see that. Last week, getting a win and a cover on the road against Chicago. They had 2 road games. They come back home here on Sunday Night Football. Couple of things to watch here, and obviously everyone's going to be talking and watching about the injury situation because it appears that they're going to get Nick Chubb back here for this game, which is obviously a monster situation. They have to have him out there. Baker Mayfield's got all sorts of problems: knee injury, arm injury, shoulder injury. It's just ridiculous how many guys are banged up for this Cleveland Browns team, but they should get their running backs back, and that would be big for them up against this Baltimore Ravens defense. However, the Ravens in the secondary, they continue to be really, really banged up, and they continue not to be great. Lamar Jackson, yes, he's probable with the COVID-19 situation or the illness that they're calling non-COVID, I should say. I think he's playing, okay? I think he's in. This bet has been made with the likelihood of him inning. The number is 3, okay? You can shop around and find this. Some books are already at 3.5. Some books are at 3. I like this number at 3. The Ravens this season only 4-6 against the spread. Very un-John Harbaugh-like. At home, they're 2-3. Very un-John Harbaugh-like. But Jim just got a big win yesterday. Let's see if John can match it. 3-4 against the division so far for Baltimore against the spread. 4-6 this season is just not good, but they did cover last week. The previous 3 games, they did not cover. But for the Browns, 3 of the last 4 games, they did not cover. Against Detroit, they didn't cover, laying 13.5. They won by 3. On the road against the Patriots, catching 2.5. They lost by 38. Against Cincinnati, on the road, they were catching 2. They won by 25. Look, I think this Ravens team starts to play their best football here in the later parts of November into December here, okay? And when you start looking at the numbers, this is interesting to me from this Ravens defense. So Cleveland wants to run the football, right? 5.2 yards per rush. It's number 1 in the NFL. But 4.2 yards given up is not bad. That's 12th best in the NFL rushing-wise. They only give up 88.6 yards overall on the ground. That's number 2 in the NFL. So it's number 1 rushing defense versus the number 2 rushing number 1 rushing offense versus number 2 rushing defense in this football game, right? So obviously they want to pound the rock, they want to run the football. I actually think Cleveland might throw the ball a bit more. They're only averaging 205 yards per game through the air, but Cleveland is looking at a defense giving up 281 yards. That's the worst pass defense in the NFL, okay? So I think Baltimore is going to, this is strength on strength. So what are you going to try to do? Throw the football, right? Well, the receivers, they're good, not great. Mayfield, good, not great. Little danger there, turnovers potentially and whatnot. But I do think Cleveland's going to throw the football, and I do think they're going to have a chance to throw the football here. Baltimore on the other side, averaging 24.7 points per game. Cleveland's defense, 22.8 points per game. That's 5.7 yards per play to 5.3 yards defensively for Cleveland given up. Rushing-wise, 5th best rushing offense in the NFL with Baltimore, thanks mostly to Lamar Jackson. 4.8 yards per rush for him. On the ground, 151 yards per game. Rushing 3rd best in the NFL for the Ravens. 8th best rush defense for Cleveland, 101.1. Throwing the football, though, Cleveland's defense not bad. 215 yards through the air, giving up 251 yards passing here for Cleveland. The number, though, being 3. I just think these are the games that the Harbaughs win in the NFL because it's about smash-mouth football in cooler weather, running the football, and whose quarterback is not going to make the big mistake. I just don't like this Cleveland Browns team. I haven't liked this Cleveland Browns team all year. I think this could be a higher scoring game than people think. I mean, I think there's a potential it goes over 47. That's possible if you like the overplay. But I'm going to go 1 unit here. Baltimore, -3. Take the Ravens, -3. Now, the first prop bet comes from this game. So let's talk about prop betting here. And obviously these numbers are subject to change before you guys listen to them. But at the time of taping, let's talk about Baker Mayfield. Currently, number 2 on the prop bet cheat sheet, number 2 selection. Number 1 selection already hit. We bet it with Derek Carr going over his passing yardage on Thanksgiving. That cashed. This is number 2. Baker Mayfield over 209.5 yards passing. Okay, we just talked about the worst passing defense in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. Great against the run, awful against the pass. We're going over 209.5 yards passing for Baker Mayfield. I know he's only averaging 205. Just go a little bit over the average, and he's going to get there for us. 209.5 yards passing, Baker Mayfield. Quarter unit on that prop. Number 2, Dalvin Cook rushing 78.5 yards at DraftKings tonight. I was somewhat surprised by this. We know what the Vikings are going to try to do. The Vikings want to run the football. I know San Francisco's got a really good rushing defense. I understand that. But to me, you've got a rushing team, an offense that's averaging 119 yards per game on the ground. The vast majority of that's going to come from Dalvin Cook. And San Fran's giving up 115 yards per game on the ground. This is not your typical San Francisco rushing team. Dalvin Cook, I think, will blow over this. Dalvin Cook at DraftKings, you can find it, 78.5 rushing yards for Dalvin Cook for a quarter unit. One more, next prop, T.Y. Hilton up against Tampa Bay at home for T.Y. And you look at the numbers here, 34.5 yards receiving for T.Y. Hilton, facing a Tampa Bay defense that gives up 243 yards per game through the air, 6.2 yards per pass play is not bad, but they do only 17th best in terms of overall passing. And teams throw on these guys. Why? You can't run on them. Really hard to run. We know what Indy's going to want to do is run the ball with, their great running attack in their offensive line, but with Jonathan Taylor, but 32nd, 66.9% of the time, teams are passing on Tampa. Why? Because they can. And they have to because they can't move the ball on the ground. T.Y. Hilton over 34.5 yards receiving. And this next one, in the last one, is totally juiced to high heaven. It's minus 185 at DraftKings. But it's just to get a W. It's almost like guaranteed money. Have you guys ever looked at Ben Roethlisberger and the rushing totals? I was tipped off by a friend on this. Ben Roethlisberger, look at Ben Roethlisberger's rushing. It's actually kind of ridiculous, his rushing stats. It's 0.5, okay? It's 0.5. You heard me right. Ben Roethlisberger rushing stats, 0.5 at minus 185. Minus 185. If he moves at all, you just tip your cap and go, thank you very much. But Ben Roethlisberger, over the last 5 games, -1, -1.5, 0, 0. Sorry. -1, -3, 0, 0, 0. Okay? He goes back there in the shotgun a lot. He's a statue. He doesn't move. If he gets a 1 yard, if he picks up a yard, we're dead. Fine. But kneel downs and everything else could come into play here. Ben Roethlisberger for fun. We're going Roethlisberger for a quarter unit at minus 185. Under half a yard rushing for Ben Roethlisberger. Okay? So, again, here's the full pod. We're going Ravens -3. Okay? At home on Sunday Night Football. The Wong teaser right now, most likely, not official. I'll tell you in the Discord channel, most likely it's going to be Patriots -1, Packers +8. Most likely. But we got to wait for line movement, wait for actives, who's inactive, who's active, wait for the totals to settle, right, as we get towards kickoff. But right before kickoff, I will tell you whether or not we're going to jump in on that, but that's most likely going to be the Wong teaser. Patriots -1, Packers +8 in their games, Patriots, Titans, Rams, and the Packers. So that's probably going to be the -120 Wong teaser. So stick around coming up for that. And then the props. Ben Roethlisberger under half a yard rushing. Baker Mayfield over 209 yards passing. Dalvin Cook over 78.5 yards rushing. And T.Y. Hilton over 34.5 yards receiving for the Indianapolis Colts. Okay? 3 units in play coming up here for us today for a Sunday's Daily Juice podcast. Vacation continues. Let's watch some football. Hopefully today ended well. I don't know. I mean, the best play of the day was Michigan +8, but hopefully the rest of the bets come in for us and we have a winning day. I don't really know. We were on a 7-3 run going into today, so hopefully that continues for us here for the Daily Juice. My name is Matt Perrault. You can follow me on Twitter @SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.